You're normally used to a good 6, maybe 7 teams, and it's a shame this year that we're limited to essentially 3 countries. Obviously, England have got England and England A, but it's essentially a three country pool that we're kind of limited to.
And of course, that stops it being a true European Championship, but they do have Test match status.
Yeah, correct. Well. Yeah, and going off the game that I saw before, so England-France was at 10:12 today, and I watched all of that game, 5-5, really good game, and I think England will be tough on them, probably a little bit tough on themselves tonight. I think, speaking to a few of their players, I've got 2 Wigan teammates in that side, and I think they'll be thinking that they really want to meet France again. So yeah, that'll be interesting, and obviously these two have met before, so yeah, I think this is going to be quite a good game.
Indeed.
Kind of passive to begin with, that's how they set it up anyway, and it's not really worked for Scotland there.
Yeah, it's France who get the opportunity to field the ball for the first time in this game.
So it did look like Scotland there were looking to run what's called a hammer with a passive link runner at the back. All we mean by passive line is that link hole hitter on the open side. He's not actually chopping a hard hole, they're actually quite deep. And it just makes it a little bit harder, a little bit extra to defend. Good feet, straight through.
Goes through. Has he got someone there with him?
Great defence from Scotland to recover there, but
now,
that was quick going through.
Just a point I want to make here, because he passed it straight back to the Scottish player. Did he get confused with the shirts, do you think?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it was quite good scrambling defence from Scotland, but there's maybe a case. I mean, like you said before, it's very similar colours. I mean, the only distinguishable feature that's a difference is the fact that it's vests and T-shirts. So, yeah, it is a strange one. We've got a touch pass there, so France will work their way up the box, and they'll probably get an extra touch that they can strike with if they play this well.
Well, we are going to take a short break from this game. Let's head to Ian in the studio.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the studio. As you can see, I'm joined by another guest. We've got Claire Camilleri here from the Women's 35 Irish Open. In fact, you're captain as well, aren't you, Claire?
That's correct, yeah.
And you've just come off a tough 3-3 draw with Wales. How was it?
Yeah, it's a tough slog. So that's our 3rd game for the day. So had England in the morning, Scotland, and then Wales. So to draw 3-3, look, we're happy enough with the result. Gives us a fighting chance for the final.
It was a tense finish as well, wasn't it? And of course, Wales did actually beat you yesterday 4-3. So
thanks
there's
for the
nothing
reminder,
to choose between you two. Yes,
Yeah.
I do have to mention it. Of course. Now, actually, I wanted to talk about schedule with you because that's something I've noticed. Now, yesterday you arrived. Your first game was at 1 o'clock against
Correct.
Scotland yesterday. You've just finished up now. That was your 5th game. That's 5 games in about 27 hours. Does fatigue kick in a bit?
Correct, and you've got to remember we are the women's 35, so we're one of the more mature age levels.
Give over. No, I'm not having that.
But yes, no, it is tough on the old body. But look, this is what we train for as well. We train for the schedule, and we have no say in it. But look, we take our recovery just as seriously as our prep. So.
And you have to as well because you've got England tomorrow morning at 9:35.
Once again, thanks for the reminder of the early start. But no, look,
you're never going to come up here again, are you?
No, it's good. But no, look, it's part of tournament life. You know, you just get used to it.
Good. What's the expectation for the team? Because it's been a fairly solid start, hasn't it? So 2 defeats, get out of the way, 2 wins and a draw.
Yeah, it's we came over obviously with COVID. There hasn't been too much international preparation, so it was a little bit unexpected, but about what we were going to face. But we want to get to that gold medal final. You know, that's the aim.
Fantastic, Claire. I'll let you go. Go relax, get a good night's sleep, up early tomorrow, and we'll keep up to speed with how you get on.
And to the team, don't stop believing, lads.
That's what we like to hear. Thanks, Claire.
Phil.
Let's hand back to your commentary team for the rest of the first half.
Had to get it in.
Thanks very much, Ian. Back here is no score as yet.
And they've still not changed kits.
Well, we're just talking about that, aren't we? And obviously, we are quite. We're not a million miles away from the pitch, but we're quite set far back from the pitch, high up. even we were saying it is very, very difficult to tell these two teams apart at the moment, because not only are they both in blue, but they're in the same shade of blue as well.
Yeah, I think it is literally just we've got t-shirts v vests to go off, and we're gonna have to live with it. But yeah, so both teams are kind of struggling with their transition a little bit to begin with, and a couple of the Scotland boys will try and get to the box. Hopefully get their strike players on. So Adam Brown asking for the ball and just try and get around his opposite number, and now Scotland back to a full complement, so they can run their plays now, and I was lucky to get away with that.
Comes back again now.
Good dive,
as he dived through.
nice and low.
Cheers from the Scottish bench in front
Good
of us,
touch.
but I don't think it's been given. No touch has been given.
Coxhill got nice and low there, reached out with the right hand, but yeah, I think just good defence, good recovery, just a quickie play, steps to the outside, he gets his right hand out, good reach, but France have claimed the touch and the refs agree, so we'll work our way back to the middle for the French.
So France coming through great.
Speed.
This is great speed.
French.
Oh, and he's
Again,
a pass to no one in particular. I wonder if there was a shout behind him, because it was a no look pass.
yeah. And again, like I said before, is he just seeing that shade of blue in the corner of his eye and feeding it off? But that's twice now that the French have had a lot of joy with that scoop, that middle scoop. They're really quick out of half, and if they can just stick with that a little bit and yeah, try and persevere with that a little bit, I think they might see a little bit of joy.
I think one thing that is pretty obvious in these early stages so far is the speed of these two teams.
Yeah, they play nice and quick, especially like we said on fourth, fifth touch. A highlight of France's finish to their sets is their speed out of dummy half, and it'll be interesting to see if they carry on. You know, they've got to remain patient with it. They've obviously got players that like picking up from dummy half, and here we go from fifth, and they do the same again. But this time Scotland just keep them in that corner. They've done well to keep them there.
Really good diving touch there. And ball is back in Scottish hands as they head towards their sub box, make some changes.
Some heavy touches going in on this side. Scotland working off towards their transition now, so they'll drag over for that 32, and they'll plough in on fifth touch for this near side scoop, and it's just a little fumble at the roll ball. That's a shame. They had really good momentum. They'd actually brought both of the French middles up to make the touch, and they had them on toast there. It was a shame they couldn't finish that off.
There's France, who now have the opportunity to use that speed they have going forward.
France will try and reply with the same thing. Straight through that middle channel.
They've done it again, and this time I think
he's
they
got away. Great score, really good score.
And you see the reaction by Arnaud Rea there. That's the third time he's managed to get in that position. Finally he gets it back. Olivier Vieza, who gets the touchdown. You see a great speed again. Vieza just managing to get that space.
It's a tough one for Scotland there. They'll be really disappointed with that, because ideally nothing should be going through that middle channel, that 33 channel, and to let a half just go through there. Maybe not freely or easily. It was a good scoop, it was quick, but it was a shame that they managed to get through there.
And they've had warnings as well, because like you say, it's the third time he's managed to get through there.
Yeah. Interesting little cool down going on in the corner. I think they're just off camera at the minute. We might go into focus in a minute, but
I think it's that the Irish women's 35s. Scotland come straight back into it.
There's a similar play to what Coxhill ran before, where he's going nice and low and then reaching out with that right arm. It's a quickie, stepped outside, he'll get it back, and then he'll just try and beat his opposite player to the line, and he's done that really well. Nice low dive.
Steve Coxhill diving through to put the ball down. Good play by Adam Brown as well. Good interplay between the two. And Scotland straight back on level terms.
Quarter of the way through now, you kind of get a sense of what each team's pet plays are. And I think he was offside, so the referee's actually let play run through. The referee's saying he was off, and that's play through and a score. So, yeah, like we're saying, you kind of get a sense of what both teams are likely to run or like running. And Scotland, obviously, Coxhill's ran that quickie play, and he's got a really good low dive. France are a very good running team. They're getting their scores and their joy from scooping through hard, from keeping the intensity quite high while they're driving, and that's where they're getting their success from. So it'll be interesting to see if both teams veer away from that or they stay patient with it. Scotland looking for that link sweeper. They did actually create a little bit of space on this left-hand edge from that. They just weren't able to get it over the top.
And
that's fifth touch.
Yes, fifth touch for Scotland. So difficult for them to probably get anything from this. They'll look to put it in the corner, I think.
They'll be frustrated looking back on that when they do look back in the live stream, because it was fourth touch, and obviously they got caught on a bit of a nothing play, and when you're having to run off a static fifth touch, it's a little bit of a Hail Mary play, because you're trying to create something out of nothing. You've got no momentum, and the defence is set, so I think they'll be a little bit frustrated with that.
Is it France? Good drive so
Really
far,
good drive,
but they're on last touch now. But again, they put it back over in that corner. It makes it difficult for Scotland, because if they want to make changes, they've got to come over to the left-hand side.
Yep. So Arnaud Raya for France, number 11. You kind of get a sense of what his tendencies are when he's picking up. He's really threatening on that fifth touch scoop, but what he likes to do, he likes to run at the touching player, fix him up, and then kick to his left, and kick to the outside. He wants to go short side every time. He has gone through the middle because he was given that option, but it looks to me that Scotland should be taking away that short side option from him. Running at full speed from halfway, I would happily give a player a 4-on-3 option over the top, but at the minute they're giving him that short side, and they're taking it again. He's gone for it, left hand.
Oh, great take!
Great score. So like I said before, so this time it's a slight difference. So Raya, instead of being half, he's a live player, and all about that is he can score. So Raya, when he gets it here on this quick hit, he runs at his opposite player, kicks to his left, and now he's got an overlap. He's just got to execute there off his right hand. Great score.
I think it was a great play by the wing to get free and give Raya that opportunity or that target to get the ball out to. So 3-1 France lead.
Coxhill coming round on that sweeper again. Looks to be a little bit of a strike play for Scotland. Oh, that's a shame. That was a great ball over the top.
Yeah, Charlotte Smith, and she done really well to create the space for herself.
Yeah, I think Smith could have been a tiny little bit wider there. It was a nice ball over the top. I think the pass could have been a little bit lower. It was a shame that they created the space really well. That might be something that they want to go back to. It's Coxhill coming round on the sweep. He seems to be their strike danger player. If you've got an equally threatening player at half on that, you've got a couple of options, and they've gone short side, picked up against the grain, and that seems to be a little bit of a way that Scotland can kind of create space for them. So it'd be good to see if they can go back to that.
Indeed, and they have the ball again.
Space here. France have a man down and they were subbing off. So France down to 5 for the time being. I think there was a forced sub. He's actually been sent for time, so he's going to go to the bin in the top corner. There's space on the left. Coxhill's got a great dive.
Not quite made it this time. We've seen a few of them today, haven't we? With sent for time. We saw none yesterday.
So Coxhill's just going to try and use that dive that he's got again, but this time we've picked up from half. Great ball over the top.
Superb. Great play by Scotland.
Yeah, Adam Brown off his right hand.
Yeah,
really good ball.
Amy Malagoti.
That's really nice.
Really well at creating space for herself as well, and it made the pass easy in a way.
Yeah, 100%. She's right space, obviously there's no hole to hit because they were down to 5, and Scotland have exploited that really well. But it's nice to see now. Obviously Coxhill we knew was a threat early on, but it's good to see that Adam Brown taking control a little bit as well. So Scotland have now got those 2 threats, 2 very real threats that France have got to deal with.
Of course, he's in the box for 4 sets of a hole. It doesn't matter that they are a man down; they've just gone 4-2 ahead.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Scotland. That they'll be disappointed to concede with to concede against 5 players. You want to kind of stay quite a little bit tighter there. And when we're talking about post touch, you've got to get off your line. You've got to close those early gates and get off your line as early as possible. And yeah, Scotland they'll be devastated with that because obviously they scored and they got themselves back into the game. Still playing against 5 players and to concede there and then not make anything of the next set like they have done there. That's
I think this is going to be the final set of the penalty as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They'll be really disappointed not to one have conceded and 2 not been able to pull anything back. They're staying 2 behind.
It's another really good drive by France, considering that they're a player down. Diving through.
Yeah, good feet. France have exposed that really well.
Christophe Lafoucault.
That's what Lafoucault's done really well here. He's just skipped to the outside, and this is just good feet. Step in, step out, good dive. But what Scotland have got to do there, defending against a player less, they've got to they've got to take away those outside edges a little bit more. Give France their only option of throwing over the top, because if they do throw over the top, they've got a player less to use. So Brendan Coxhill will look to respond. Oh,
I think he has.
That's great.
That's incredible.
That's really nice.
Steve Coxhill, who is driving everything for Scotland, it seems.
He is, yeah, and it helps that France have got to be wary of Brown being at half as well. But when Coxhill steps back there, France have got to collapse quicker than that. But Coxhill's just got to he gets really low really quickly. Seems to be really good at that. But because Adam Brown is at half, France have got to be wary of him picking up, which he has done a couple of times now. And if I'm Scotland, I'd really look at hammering that, especially in the second half.
Yeah, France now back to 6.
Sweeper play. I think the sweeper came a little bit too early. Scotland have defended that well. Well done. Yeah, Scotland have done that really well. So, a little bit harsh. He's given a hard touch. Yeah, France have got an interesting tap-off move. It does end in a little sweeper and then into a cut. Quickie play. Good touch. Yeah.
Touch made.
The only thing I would like from Scotland is a little bit better pre-touch. So the saving defender just getting on side a little bit quicker so we can get off the line. So they've got into a bit of a pocket defensive now, Scotland, and the middle's got to step up. Good ball, great D from that far side. So Scotland will be buzzing that they got through that set. Done really well there. So it's actually a quickie on the link. Just turned and gone. Well done.
Oh, really good defence. Bronner Murphy. And
turn the ball over.
They needed that really, because if it had gone to 6-3.
Yeah, that would have been a big blow for half time, and they've actually given France another shot here. It would have been nice if Scotland had got down to the other end and had a shot on the France line, but Danger Man is back on for France. Arnaud Rea, just pure speed. So we'll see what he'll want to work to in these last 45 seconds. His pet play seems to be quickies and scoops through. He's gone to a quickie first. Now they're down to the 7, so he'll try it again. He's going to quickie to the other side now, but he won't get it back. And a cut over the top, so Scotland have got 30 seconds to have a play with. If I were them, hopefully be getting comms from the box. I'd probably go into 4-man driving. There's not a great deal of point of subbing off here, but they will do. And they'll drive to their box. 20 seconds. And they should get one strike play. This is fifth touch. You want a good scoop. Coxhill down. Adam Brown picks up. He'll go through the middle. That's a shame. That's a real shame. It was one of the better subbing sets for Scotland. They look really dangerous there. I think if I'm Scotland, I'd take quite a few positives from that. I think they had those couple of minutes where France were down to 5, and maybe they didn't seem to panic, but I think we talked about it in the other game. When you're playing against 5, sometimes it is a little bit confusing, and there's a lot of pressure on you to get something from it.
Is a 6 against 5 something that you would normally probably look at in training? Because I suppose it happens that rarely. Is it something you would essentially prepare for?
Sometimes. I think there's a drill that we do at Wigan where you do actually do 6 on 5, and it's not really a preparation for attacking 6 on 5. It's more of a defensive drill. But yeah, it is something that you can look at every so often. I suppose it's like practicing for drop off. Like it's something that you would do every so often, but it's not something that you would hammer home and spend a lot of time on. But yeah, I think the disappointing bit of that for Scotland would have been conceding while France had 5. That would be the thing that I'd be disappointed about from a Scotland point of view. There's a lot to take from that is positive from both sides. The positives for Scotland is this pod that's on now. Brown number 1, Coxhill 11, because if Coxhill goes down and he's the live player, he's threatening on a step off his right foot, and he's threatening diving with his right hand. If Adam Brown's at half, he's threatening on picking that ball up and going against the grain. And all we mean by against the grain is picking up against defenders that are tight and tucking under. So that pod when they come on is really threatening. But France side of the ball, like we keep saying, the danger man for me is Arnaud Rea. He's quick, and he likes to kick to the outside of his opposite defender. If I'm Scotland, I'd take that away from him. And all I mean by that is the touching player, when I know Arnaud Rea is going to scoop, I would just make that touch and pull to my nearest corner. Then the only option for him is to scoop infield, scoop to the open side. If my 3 mates on the inside tuck under and hit, his only option as a half, he can't get touched. He's got to release, he's got to throw. If you're giving him a 4-on-3 option over the top from halfway, beautiful. That's what you want to be giving him. I know the tendency is to not be beaten on the outside or to maybe give him a little bit of room, but he's that quick and he's got that good feet that I just wouldn't. So yeah, I mean, we set up quite an interesting second half here, because if Scotland can change a few things, they could pull a couple of scores back quite quickly. Alternatively, France have got the players to kind of kick on from here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And I think it's France who have the tap off as well. So they're going to have the advantage of a set of 6 from the halfway line, and we've seen that the speed that they create when they're going forward. If they manage to go 6-3 ahead within 20-30 seconds of this second half starting, then it makes it really tough for Scotland to come back. It does,
yeah, it does. I mean, we've seen it happen, so especially we know Scotland can score. I don't think the 2 scores, or they have been 2 scores worse than France. So no, you're right, and we keep saying it, but we can have a 2 score swing here. France have got a tap-off move. They ran it before. I wouldn't be surprised if they run it again. They'll probably work down the field, and I think it ends up in a sweeper and then a cut. We'll see if they run it again. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If Scotland can D it out and then return with a good set of 6, hopefully a score, we're game on. But like you said, 6-3 is tough. 6-3 is tough.
Well, we'll see what happens. Players just waiting with 30 seconds away. Again, this is the penultimate game of the day. Our final game coming up after this one is the mixed open round robin game. Scotland taking on Ireland.
good game.
Yeah, it is. So that should be a great end to day 2 here. Already nearly halfway through.
I know, can't believe it. What Scotland have done here quite well, I think their stronger pod isn't on at the minute. So hopefully, but to give us a game, I think if they can do this out, their stronger pod will come on for their attacking transition. So France haven't gone into that subbing move that they ran before. They're going to run what looked like a hammer or a fire up. It was a little bit of a different one, but they're going to go straight back into a quickie. And it's well defended from Scotland, so they got one play, France, and off no momentum. Like we said before, it's tough to generate anything from a fifth touch play. Well done, Scotland. So
great
that's
defense.
that's one job done. One job done from their next job is getting off the field and getting your attacking pod on. And they're not off to a bad start. I'd like to generate a bit of momentum off this third one, and they do. Well done.
Scotland.
And now they've dropped off a little bit with that touch, so this is fifth touch, and Adam Brennan's going to have to pick up. Coxell's done well. A little bit of space here.
It's just,
that was a shame.
It was just by the knees. It was a difficult one to take there for Steve Coxell.
Yeah, I mean they put themselves in a little bit of a hole because touches 1 and 2 weren't as good as you'd want really, and then you left for the rest of the set playing catch up. Suppose you. I'm not sure. That was. I think that might have been kicked by Scotland. The French are appealing, and the refs have made the decision.
And they're just having a conference now.
It is Scotland ball, so get themselves back into a good position here. But yeah, like we were saying, they defended it really well, and that was first job ticked off. Second job is to generate some momentum from touches 1 to 3, so 4 and 5 are to the best they can be, and they were just always playing catch up in that last set. This one seems to be a lot better, so that's 3. They should get a good strike on France's line here, and here's one. And they've not used it. I know there was a man down, but I would have liked to have seen a play off that. So this is fifth touch coming, and we've gone straight into a little bit of a 32 short. They've not been able to generate any space or overlap from that one. France defending really well, and there seems to be a little bit of a back and forth here.
It's France who have the ball again. They've got to start very deep, so we know how good they are at driving forward though, so as regards of starting that deep, it's not really going to bother them that much.
But that's the second time that they've made an error off this, and there's got to be a point where Scotland have got to convert off one of these errors. They've got to, because they're 2 down, and I know there's still plenty of time in this, but the way France drive, they're easily getting to halfway on 3. So if France don't make an error next time they drive, they could score if it with the players they've got. We can't slow it down like that. We've got to get forward. We've got to get moving. Scotland can't afford to slow the game down at this point.
I think it was they got a really good drive there, but then they needed to make the change, and I think that's what slowed it all down.
They've got Guy v Girl on this left link. They're not looked to exploit it, but they're going to go 32 short again. And that's the turnover. It's strange that Scotland haven't ran any plays yet that gave them the 3 scores in the first half. For some reason, they've gone back to 32 shorts, and that wasn't the plays that were creating anything for them in the first half. They've gone away from it. So Scotland need to up themselves in midfield D now as France return at them with a little bit of speed.
Oh, great
Good
pass.
Ball. Great touch, well done.
Really good diving touch there, but the other thing as well is how quick France are getting back into position to get the play going again.
Yeah, there's a lot of urgency in how France playing. That's similar to a lot of the French teams across the board. They play with a lot of speed and a lot of flair, a lot of passion, and like you said, there's urgency in how they play. That's over the mark. The ref's not seen it, but play on. That's touch 4. Sorry, that's 4. So this is what we want. We want middle on middle. Adam Brown will pick up. He'll come short side. Wingers.
Just beyond.
I thought that was the set that was going to pull them back into this game. They had their strike pod on, they had their two main threats, Coxhill and Brown, and I thought they got that right. France have defended that well.
Bronner Murphy, she was running onto it with a pass just in front of it.
Oh, and Scotland have got another line. France are just leaving the door open for Scotland here. I'm not saying France would have scored off all those three transitions, but the way they drive and how their transition is, especially with Raya coming on scooping, I would have backed them to have scored 1 out of 3. So they've given Scotland a lot of ball, and now they've got something from it. Ball's down.
Referee stepping back. That is going to be a score, I think.
Huge score as well. Yeah, no, that's a score. Yeah, that ball's down, and it's Coxhill again. Coxhill is such a threat.
He's driving everything for the Scots, isn't he?
Scotland are buzzing with that. They've finally got something from it. France have left, like we said, they've left the door open for them, and 5-4, we have got a ball game.
Okay, we've got 15 minutes to go. It's 5-4. If you're Scotland and it finishes like this, or they finish within 1, how annoyed are you going to be that you allowed France to score when you had the player advantage?
That'll be the one we talked about last time,
twice.
Yeah, you're right. That'll be something they look back on. I think Raya again.
Oh, he's through and down.
I think one of the Scotland players has called the touch there. So that's interesting as well. They're now using Raya's speed on a different move. So it's got the doggies play, and all that. All we mean by that is it's a sweeper on the opposite link, and it doesn't give you much room to work with. But how quick Raya is, use it.
Always.
And I think the sideline rep is coming in here to give his view on that touch. I think. I think that was probably a little bit too heavy. It's an interesting tactic because Raya's the danger man, so I'm not surprised that Scotland are putting a little bit of pressure on him. It looks to me like the referee said play on, so he's happy. He's happy with this kind of touch.
It was a little high.
What a take, what a score.
Oh, brilliant.
Watch this. You think the play's dead. There's zero momentum that they've got from this. Middle court, flick out the back, Raya straight through. Scotland will be gutted with that. Dead play, zero momentum. Yeah. They think they've shut Raya down. And just going back to that non-penalty, the hard touch. So what you'd like to see from the refs now is consistency with that touch, that level of that, not aggression, but you know that how hard that touch was, how heavy that touch was.
Scotland dive through again.
And that's ball down. The referee's saying ball down. We've got a little bit of a back and forth going here. So
Alistair Gossip getting the ball down there.
He's taking a leaf out of Coxhill's book and got really low, snake in the grass, ball down.
So they got it straight back within 1.
Yeah.
And they needed to do that, really.
Yeah, massive score. So yeah, when Raya's on, or the strike plays are on for France, Scotland look like they're going to try and lean in and disrupt that roll ball a little bit, sticking with that pocket defence, and that's good defence from Scotland, really good. They've disrupted that roll ball, they're staying with the pocket defence. You'd like that pocket to step up now. Oh,
great.
Great.
Thomas Plaisance. Oh, he just used his hips to dodge the touch.
So that's the tough one of playing a pocket defence here. That middle's quite deep. He's trying to disrupt this play now, and then you kind of left chasing shadows there. Be interested to see if Scotland continue with that pocket defence.
Scotland, they scored from their last tap off. They're 2 down. There's still 11 minutes left.
There's plenty of time in this, yeah, and Scotland seems to be able to reply. Sweeper coming here. They're going to pick up against the grain. Option over the top.
Oh, what a catch!
Oh, you got to give that. He's giving out. She's got in touch. Oh.
Here we go. Let's have a look at this again.
So it's what we were talking about before, picking up against the grain, left-hand pill over the top. Great ball, great take.
Yes, she's out.
Just gone out. Oh, that's gutting. That would have been awesome. What a shame. Oh.
So it remains 7-5 to France.
That's better D. That's better D from Scotland, especially on the quicker players. And they turn it over. So we've got another chance to pull it back to one score again. France haven't been able to kick away with that. I'm going to keep dwelling on that play all afternoon now. It was spectacular.
But the thing is, they'll take heart from that. Okay, it wasn't a score, but it was the fact that it was such a good play, playing across the line and using the winger.
Yep.
And Bronner Murphy getting free once again, and she took it really well because it was a really difficult ball to take.
Yep.
Just ran out of room on that line.
Yeah.
It was so unlucky.
It was just a shame. Yeah, if the pitch is a bit bigger, that's a score. But going back to how the play was set up, that middle channel, huge hole. That middle channel.
And that's almost an action replay of the last try. Alistair Gossip again.
Yeah, I think it's a hammer, so it's a short from the link. Middle down on middle. Link comes on that short line, left foot step. That middle hole, we've said it a few times today, nothing should go through it. And you could have got a bus through that channel. France won't want to be seeing that. Scotland, on the other hand, they've got to go back to that. I keep saying it, but if you're getting joy from something, go back to it. Short side scoop from the French, they reply.
Yeah, it's back and forth at the minute. And Thomas Plaisance puts the ball down again.
France, Scotland will be annoyed that they can't, that they're scoring, but they just can't seem to DS it out at the minute.
Yeah, it's almost a game of basketball at the minute.
It is a little bit, yeah, and Scotland are on that. They're that 2-score buffer behind, and it's tough to claw back, especially when the other team is attacking so well. Sweeper, will he pick up again? He does. Left hand. Oh, it was the same play they ran before.
It was just a shorter pass inside, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think I'm liking what Scotland are doing here. They're not deviating away from plays that are working for them. Sweeper going across, pick up against the grain. That is what's giving you joy. Keep going with it. They've just got to execute. That's twice now that they haven't been able to execute and convert into a score. They've got to do it.
And the thing is, the French look dangerous every time they're coming forward.
This guy's on.
Oh, look at this! There's space there.
Great hands, beautiful. So what we've seen here, I think it's Raya on that 32 scoop again. He's not been able to get outside this time. We talked about it before. This time he's actually had to step back in field. So he's come back in here. He's now got a 4-on-3. But the shot from Scotland, from Scotland's defenders, it's a second too late on each position, which is why France have been able to just tip, score.
Oliver Vieza putting the ball down, and that gives France a 3-try cushion.
Yeah.
And 7 minutes to go.
It's a big one.
You fancy Scotland have got to score here, really.
That's better from France. So they defended that hammer much better. No way that middle channel's opening this time. They go for a punish play on this short side. I think that's down. He's given that touch.
No touch. It was claimed straight away by the French.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that again. So, yeah, he runs a punish play, probably cuts down his room a little bit. He's done pretty well there, but the defender, he's cut to the outside.
Yeah, I think he didn't actually, he touched the back of his ankle, I think, just as he was sliding through.
No, it could have been a bit of a 50-50 on that, but no, that was good defence in the end. And France will come back on and do what's been working for them, which is their transition. Ball over the top.
Just couldn't quite be gathered in.
So they're just looking to put this game on ice now, and I think they're only a score away from doing it, to be honest. They're either a score or about 2 minutes away from doing it if the scores remain the same, and Scotland are going to have to pull something out of the bag here. They're going to have to get a score quick on this and D out the next set, but it's going to probably have to be a score in this set.
I tell you what, though,
late coming on.
it's been a cracking game.
It has, yeah. I've seen some really good stuff. Coxhill gets it down, Brown picks up. And France have done well to do that. It just stunted a little bit, that set. Coxhill wasn't able to get on quick enough to make an impact on that set, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
It's France who
Put that ball down, that's ball to ground, I think.
Is that going to turn it back over? I don't think it is.
Like the sideline ref was giving ball to ground, and France are happy to just run the clock out now.
5 minutes to go. It's a tall order to ask Scotland to score 3 and not concede any in such a short space of time.
The amount of time that France will take up just driving down the field, that's 6 touch. So they might get a shot to pull a couple back, and they'll just drive their way over to their box. Their strike pod making their way off. So the pod coming on now, they've been really good at running those sweepers with the pickup, and I don't think they're going to be able to run that this time. They do get to a scoop, middle, good hands. He's got it away.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The thing is, he didn't have the momentum, did he,
no.
David Stockwell, as he turned?
No, I just couldn't get it over there, and yeah, France will be relieved to survive that set.
4 minutes left now.
France have done really well here because there was plenty of time in the first 10 minutes of this second half where Scotland could have pulled this back to at least level or even gone ahead. And
yeah, because they had momentum, didn't they?
Yeah, plenty, and they were finding ways to score. They were finding plenty of ways to create a lot of space and a lot of opportunity, and they weren't able to execute off it. And looking back on it, I think a big moment or a big period of that game was when France went down to 5 and Scotland weren't able to get much from it. I think they did get a score, but France got 2, and to be able to do that with a man less, that's a killer, that absolute killer. And it doesn't seem like Scotland have been able to sort of survive or sort of come back since that.
It's been a really good performance by both teams. Just France having that little bit more, I think, with regards to the speed in their attack.
Yeah, I think my MVP will be Raya. I think Arnold Raya he's did the damage in the first half. He's been a threat every time he's come on, and I think that's going to wrap it up. Is she calling the touch? She's not. No touch being claimed. He stayed in field. Sideline ref's giving it. And that'll do us, I think. That puts the game on ice for the French.
10-6 France.
Yeah, really good. They've just been, when they've run that transition well, Scotland have just found it hard to live with them. And it's just been the times that Scotland have put them under a bit of pressure and been able to, stunt it a little bit, and they've not done it enough. So yeah, they've been really good today.
Charlie Marqueton, just great speed down the wing as well.
Yeah, good finish, really good finish.
So into the final 2 minutes now. I think Scotland will be looking to pop another score on the board. They may do here.
Nice.
Oh, was the touch made?
Yeah, I think just a little bit of a hit on the line. I think there's plenty of positives to say from this from Scotland. I think positives for me would be that this pod that's on now, especially with Coxhill and Brown, are really threatening, and hopefully Adam Brown is alright. He's took a little bit of a knock on the line diving in there, but Coxhill especially is really threatening on his ground game. He's got a really good low dive, and he's got another score. He's been great today, and they've pulled one back, and I think if they can just add a few more progressions onto their game, I think that'll take them to the next level. And if these two teams do meet again, I think Scotland might be able to claw back a couple more scores against them. I think another thing for me that I would highlight is their midfield D, and taking away what works for France. And the guy on the ball now, Ray, is definitely a danger picking up the ball from half. I would just take away his short side and give him the open side. Give him a 4-on-3 option and see what his long ball's like from halfway. I'd happily give him that option, but and that takes away a little bit of a threat for them, and that's all touch is. If you can take away, you know, a good chunk of an opposition's game, it puts you in a good spot.
To answer your question, these teams are facing each other again on Friday.
Okay. That'll be an interesting game, that, because I think Scotland have got a lot to learn from that game. France definitely played well, and they were better on the day, and they deserved to win. I think Scotland, like we said before, they'll be gutted for that period of the game when France were down to 5, and I think these two sides, if France can just look back on the footage again, maybe mute our voices so they don't have to listen to us. But yeah, there's a lot to take from that, a lot of positives. I think if they can just work on a little bit of line attack, midfield D, add a few more weapons, add a few more moves to their arsenal, a few more progressions on what they're running, that'll put them in good stead for Friday.
It certainly will. Well, a great game we've just had on pitch 1, and we've got one more to come tonight. That's in the mixed open competition. Scotland taking on Ireland, and that'll be the final game that we have on stream today. So Jordan, thank you very much.
No worries at all.
And join us for Scotland against Ireland. That's coming up in a couple of minutes' time.